Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Dairoku. I don't know why I said it like that. Anyway, more Dairoku, and we're just picking up where we left off, like we do every time, and I still don't know why I have to tell you that every time, but it's just cemented in my brain. That's just how we do shit here. I don't know. Anyway, I think we were back. Oh, right. We went back into the map again to Kikutsune because we were supposed to visit Shiratsuki again. Because now we're in the point, maybe in the flowchart, where things are starting to matter. So, anyway. Huh. It sure is peaceful. I stood there absent-mindedly staring up into the sky. I was told that floating in the sky were small, glowing Ayakashi, sparkling like twilight stars. I couldn't help but feel relaxed as the peaceful thought crossed my mind, considering I hadn't come across any particular trouble. So those aren't stars? It's just like Ayakashi up there with sparkly butts? That's really fucking weird. I mean, I just feel like that's an odd thing. I'm not sure if it makes me feel better or worse. Like, I'm not sure if it's like, oh, cool, or if it's like, oh, I don't know. Like, you know, I feel slightly unnerved by that, I think. Well, it's good there aren't any issues. It's like I'm on some sort of leisurely stroll. I am on the job, so I need to be more alert. Getting back on track, I straightened up, put my game face on, and began walking again. Oh, it's you! What a coincidence! Shiratsuki, hello. I was just on my rounds around Kikutsune. You're always hard at work, aren't you? But don't you think you could take it a bit easier? I know you're on duty, but no one will blame you if you don't force yourself into attention like that. I'm always just naturally attentive, okay? Don't say that as if I'm trying to force it or anything. Unfortunately, he had completely hit the mark. Yeah, that's true. You always do have this intense look on you. I feel like I'm being made fun of. I clear my throat, hoping to change the topic. By the way, has there been anything that's happened recently or anything troubling you? If so, I'd like you to please let me know. A big part of our job as Ayakashimori is to help resolve all your problems. I'm grateful for that, but there isn't anything troubling in particular. As you can see, Kikutsune is completely peaceful. Well, as they say, you never know what the future holds. The situation could very well take a drastic turn in mere seconds. Slightly dramatic. Mere seconds? Of course not. You joke all the time, Shiratsuki. Naturally. As we laughed about it... Yeah! What was that scream just now? It seems something happened over there. Mere seconds after. I said it could. Convenient. Did we just jinx it? Maybe. I should have known better than to laugh about something like that. Thinking this wouldn't resolve anything, I immediately shifted my mindset. I'll go see what happened. And then allow me to go with you. I can't simply ignore trouble in Kikutsune. Shiratsuki and I headed toward the scream. We ran for a bit until we found a Nekomata sprawled out onto the ground. Meow! Are you alright? What happened? Wow, it hurts! My soul! It hurts! I feel that. That's a mood. My soul! It hurts! Big mood. Huh? Your soul hurts? I'm basically injured at this point! Look, Mew! Look at the terrible state of my tail! As the Nekomata spoke, it moved its tail toward me for me to see. I mean, I should be doing it more dramatically and not a weird voice, but like, I only got so many voices, you know? Oh, how terrible! Your tail's covered in gum! I was having a nice afternoon nap, Mew! Mew? I thought I felt something weird and woke up and found it like this, Mew! Mew! I can't do his voice and Mew at the same time. See, that worked out fine. Anyway. I saw some children who were from Makatsui, walking around chewing their gum, Mew. I'm sure that they're the ones who put it on me, Mew. My pride and joy turned into this.
And this is pretty bad. Cats absolutely hate having their tails toyed with. And those children's tricks are quite troublesome.
Shiratsuki, do something, Mew! I should have done a different voice for this goddamn Nekomata cat because, like, now I just can't handle it. Anyway.
There, you poor thing. For one thing, I'll try and make chewing gum while walking around prohibited.
Actually, I mean, you should be allowed to walk around chewing gum. You just should be, like, prohibit people from putting it on other creatures anyway.
That's not what I mean! I want you to do something about that gum on my tail right now, Mew! Even so, I'm not so good at things that require so much detail and attention.
I love the look on his face where he's like,
not good at that. Spacey, what would you do to resolve this?
Don't you put, like, ice on gum? Me? Let's see. How to remove gum? Clean it off with a spell. Cut it off along with the fur. Oh, I feel like a spell would be better. I don't think we should cut off his fur. I don't think he'd like that. Clean it with a spell. Good. That's right. I might be able to take it off cleanly with the spell.
Really?
I've never tried this before, but I've heard that gum that's gotten stuck to hair can be taken off if it's frozen. See? Okay. I knew that trick. All right. Learned something from 100 years ago that I remembered. I mean, I retained it, I guess. I learned a simple freezing spell in my training, so what do you think of me trying that?
Very interesting. I'll see what you can do. Will my tail get frozen too, Mew?
His voice is turning into God knows what right now, but it's fine. I'll be careful so it doesn't happen, though I'm not sure how strong it'll be, so let me try the spell on something else first. I tried using the ice spell on a fallen leaf at my feet that I picked up. Oh, I froze it too much.
Are you sure this is going to go all right, Mew?
I am. I think I got a feel for it with that. Just in case, I pick up another fallen leaf and practice on it. And this time I froze it to a good point. All right, I'll try and freeze it now, okay?
Go on and do it, Mew!
I have to cast this spell carefully now. All right, it worked!
My, aren't you skilled?
Now to carefully pull the gum from the tail. Yes, I was able to get it off!
Oh, I'm so glad, Mew! Thank you so much, Mew! You really are a good human, Mew. I'll repay this debt to you the next time you have any problems with something, Mew.
I guess this is the Nekomata's favor, huh? I'll gladly take you up on that then. Shiratsuki's smiling, but he isn't saying anything. I wonder what he's thinking.
I'm glad you were there with me. Let me express my thanks as the Shire of Kikutsune.
I just did what came naturally to me. I am an Ayakashimori after all. No, I guess being an Ayakashimori doesn't matter. I can't be thinking about what my position or job is when it comes to helping someone in need.
You...
Yes?
No, it's nothing. I'm happy a kind Ayakashimori like you has come to us.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm a bit embarrassed. Although I hadn't done much in particular, it was enough for me to be even a little bit of help. It was enough for me to even be a little bit of help. Wow, I could not. Anyway. Well, I think it's interesting the way he was like, you... Like, that threw him off when we were like, I mean, I'm an Ayakashimori, and then it's like, well, I mean, it's more like I would have helped him anyway, even if it's not my job. Because, like, you know what I mean? Like, your job, like, if I was, like, you know, she's like, even if I wasn't an Ayakashimori, if I was here and I saw that, I might try to help too. You know what I mean? And he's just like, what? Like, that shocks him? So it kind of goes back to, like, I think it was in the last part, talking to Shiratsuki, and she's like, oh, he's always so friendly, but I get the feeling, but there's something off. Like, there's not really a connection here. Like, he seems friendly and nice, but, like, it's almost like, oh, yeah, I'm being nice to you because I have to. But, like, but you know what I mean? Like, but it's just like a surface level, like, oh yeah, nice to strangers, but inside I'm like, there's no connection here. We're not friends, yo. You know? Almost like maybe I'm talking to you and I'm friendly with people because it's my job to be, and like, okay, fine. Not that I hate the Ayakashimori deep down inside or whatever. It's just, nope, it's business. And you're not, like, he's not going to connect with people because, like, oh, you're just different, but I have to be nice to you, and that's fine. I'm cool with that. And I'll be surface level friendly, like stranger friendly. You know what I mean? You might be polite to a stranger on the street, but that doesn't make you best friends. And even though she's like, we have these conversations and like, whatever, he's just more like, I have no feelings about any of you whatsoever. If you exploded, it'd be like, oh, okay. But you know what I mean? But then maybe like that's slightly changing his view instead of just being like, oh, you're just there. I'm just chatting with you because that's your job and it's my job and okay, whatever. And it's like, oh, wait, huh. Maybe I actually like feel a connection with you for that. Like, not like you, because obviously I don't think he hates us. But it's more the like, I'm nice to strangers. And like maybe that's more like, huh. Maybe I think of you more than a stranger. I can't quite explain what I'm thinking, but I think, you know what I mean? Anyway. That was like going around in circles and not really getting to the point of what I'm actually thinking. I think it's just because we don't know how he feels about not just us, but all Ayakashimori. I don't think he hates us or distrusts us, but again, I think it's more like I'm going to be friendly, but we ain't friends, yo. And now maybe us being like, oh, I still would have helped, even though it's my job. He's like, interesting. Perhaps I want to be your friend. I don't know. Anyway, I felt a small satisfaction growing within me. Or he's just thinking, oh, they're all here and it's their job to help us or do whatever. Ooh, map select 4. Okay, do we go back to Shiratsuki again? Let's see. Hold on. Scroll up. We do! Okay, yes. Boop. Yes! Lots of Shiratsuki. Chapter 1. Calligraphy? Question mark. Right before heading out on my rounds today, Seimi asked me to make a delivery. He said since I was going to Kikutsune anyway, there was a piece of paper he needed to have delivered. I'd come to Takamonomiya. I had to stop for a second to read that. Takamonomiya to deliver it. It really is big when you see it up close. But how are you supposed to actually get inside? There's no intercom, obviously, but there isn't any sort of bell or knocker or door knocker either. Maybe I just have to get someone to let me in. Is there a door handle? But there wasn't a single person around. What should I do? I can't just yell from outside since I'm not a child. Knock? I thought it over again. No, this is work. I can't be soft on myself. Thinking that I can't do this just because it's embarrassing. I just had to go for it and call for Shiratsuki. I make my decision and take in a deep breath.
What are you doing there?
Mouth agape as we're about to yell. I was about to yell for you. Anyway.
She has some business with you, don't you think?
Right before I was about to shout, Shiratsuki and Koko call out to me. I was so surprised I almost choked. Shiratsuki! Koko! Hello!
How unusual that you'd come here to
Takamonomiya. I don't know.
That you'd come here to
Takamonomiya. Why can't I say that in his voice? Anyway, that's it.
You felt like you wanted to see me.
Takamonomiya. Like, see, that was fine, but why couldn't I do it the first time in his voice? Anyway, it's fine. That's not the case. I just came to deliver something to you. I like the look on his face right now. He's like, okay, you wanted to see me. We're like, I'm delivering something. Sure.
Deliver something? What could it be?
Well, let's just let her in first. We don't have to be standing out here to talk. Oh, no, it's fine. Really.
And don't be so reserved. We can't offer much, but come inside. I welcome you in.
All right. Thanks for having me. All I needed to do was hand off a piece of paper, but now I was in the reception room. All right, I'll go make some tea. Just wait a moment, okay? You really don't have to... It really isn't much I have... It really isn't much I have to do, so I feel a bit bad they're doing all this. That was awkwardly phrased, but anyway.
Oh, don't be so formal. I happen to have some time off anyways, so I'd like to offer some hospitality to such an unusual guest.
Well, thank you. I gave a half-hearted answer, feeling like I was being led on by a string by Shiratsky. I gave a half-hearted feeling like I was being led on a string by Shiratsky. Okay, I read that wrong. I received this from Seimi, who asked me to bring this to you today, Shiratsky. Taking the paper I handed him, Shiratsky ran his eyes across the words with a calm expression.
What? What was that? What? I think it's just a birdie outside. Okay, why? Can I seriously ask you a question? No, don't break the headset. It's not for you. Microphone's not for you. Stop it. You see the birdies like a mile fucking away in the sky, and you're like, ah! But yet you scream because you can't see me when I'm in the motherfucking kitchen. I know you can fucking see me when I'm in the kitchen. You're just being an asshole. Don't break my headset. It was here before you were. I had it on before you came over. Don't you bite me. You're a nasty bird. You're so nasty. If you don't want the headset in your face and sit on the other shoulder. God. You're such a jerk. He's like, you know what it is? Because I sit on this shoulder. I sit on your left shoulder. Because when you have your work headset on, it's on your right ear. I know. They're reversed. Don't be bitey. You're being a jerk. You're a nasty bird. Anyway. I see. I noticed for a large-scale inspection. Right. We'll begin our inspection before we start reorganizing Sakuratani's sectors. The first of them will be Kikutsune, from what I'm told. We're reorganizing? It's completely fine to keep going about your lives as normal, but there may be some times when inconveniences may arise. Understood. And that's right. And this happens once every few years, doesn't it? I suppose we are already due for one. I'll be sure to let those in Kikutsune know of this and not get in the way of your inspections. Thank you very much. That helps us a lot. I felt some relief with my main business now out of the way. I glanced at an inkstone and a brush on the desk. He once gave me a sheet of paper that had "You reap what you sow" written on it. I couldn't believe he wrote it with his tail. And it's funny because if you don't go see Shiratsky the first time, but then you come here, it would say this, and you're like, really? When did that happen? I mean, I like the fact that they bring it up, but I feel like it would be very weird if you were just bouncing all over. You'd be like, what? But then again, at the same time, you could also be like, oh, we didn't get to see that. Okay, it happened some other point in time when we weren't present. But I think I think it's just the way the map and the flowchart kind of works does make it a little... It's a lot to organize, and... I mean, it's not terrible so far, but there are times where you're like, what is happening? I think for the most part, the flowchart, I mean, the map things have been good, but yeah, it would be a little weird if you didn't go see Shiratsky in that scene, went somewhere else, and then came back here, and then it said this, you'd be like, I missed that! And then you'd see it later and be like, oh, that's probably going to happen to us at some point. I don't know if my brain can organize it all. Probably not. He must have noticed me looking. Shiratsky suddenly put his elbows up on the table and clasped his hands together. I sometimes think about asking you this. Yes? What is it? As a human, an Ayakashimori, what is it you want to achieve? Well, I stalled on what to say, but it was such a sudden and unexpected question. It was so vague, like some sort of Zen introspection. So, what do you think? Shiratsky's intense gaze didn't allow any room for me to escape from answering. What it is that I want to achieve is to become an experienced Ayakashimori. I haven't decided yet. I feel like I'd be like, I haven't decided, but I don't know if that's the right answer. Oh yeah, okay, I haven't decided is the right answer. I haven't decided yet. Oh! I just noticed a blue flame over in the right corner above the text box.
I'm wondering if that's when you answer something right, it puts the little blue flame there. Because, I mean, we're using a guide, so I know I'm answering right. Like, you know? I just noticed that this time. Huh. Anyway, I haven't decided yet.
Oh, is that so?
It's all I can do to just learn the job, so all I can think about for now is to following my seniors first. I'm still too much of a novice to think beyond that, and there are still too many things that I don't know. I'm sorry. This pathetic answer is the only one I can give you at the moment.
It's not pathetic. In fact, it's introspective. You aren't able to decide because you're thinking so deeply about the future, right? And that's far better than simply making decisions on a whim.
Do you really think so?
At the very least, I admire the mindset. You're really quite fascinating. And that's right. Let me give you something nice.
With that, Shinatsky rummages through his desk and takes out a sheet of paper. And right in front of me, he dips his tail into the India ink. You're like, oh, Coco's gonna be so mad. Hey, he's using his tail as a brush again. He's gonna get yelled at by Coco again if he does that. Without a care in the world, Shinatsky deftly wrote a message with his tail. I just find that actually kind of like, it's a little weird because like we're gonna fall in love with this frickin' Ayakashi who's got like ears and a tail. It's like, so this is like our gateway into playing the animal lover games that we have. You know, where like my pets came to life and now they're hot dudes with tails and shit. So like, this is like one of those borderline things, but like, I'm not gonna say I'm not into it. Like, I like Shiratsky. And I just, there's something about like, oh, I'm just gonna use my tail and write you a note. You're like, I don't know why, but it's not, well, this is weird. I kind of like this. I'm into it. It's weird. What have the Tomei games done to me? What have they done to me? I'm not complaining about it, whatever it is at this point, so. Can't date real men anymore. I'm sorry. But, can you write messages with your tail? I don't have a tail. Yeah, okay, whatever. Get, like, out of here.
You'll never be as good as my 2D husbands.
You got a lot of competition in the man harem. There's a lot to live up to. Okay.
There! It really does come out better when I write with my tail.
And there's just something that appealing about that. I don't know what it is. You're like, huh, you wrote it with your tail, which should be weird, and I should be like slightly weirded out by it, but I'm like, I'm actually more into it that you, instead of just like writing with your hand and you have a tail, it's like, I'm just writing with my tail. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I think that gives you extra points. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. Anyway. I guess he's better with it than a brush. Shinatsky's odd fixation with using his tail as a brush did yield an impressive result. I peered over at the message he wrote. Truly, I am the honored one?
Yep.
Hold on. Ugh, frickin' Norton and its goddamn pop-ups irritate the fuck out of me. It's like, go the fuck away! Oh my god, stop! Or there's always like, we're doing stuff in the background. I'm doing stuff in the back. Stop it! It annoys me when I'm like glancing over just to make sure the recording's okay, or I just see it pop up out of the corner of my eye. It's like, oh my god! And I was like trying to left-hand it as I was reading, like click the X, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it while reading left-handed, trying to close the fucking pop-up. Anyway.
Yep. A nice phrase, isn't it?
I'm not really sure why you wrote it, though.
It said this is what the Buddha claimed upon his birth, but I want to give it to you as you are right now. Some might understand this to say, one's own self is sacred, but I don't think that. Those born in this world have a unique purpose, a sacred mission only they can carry out. I give you this phrase with that meaning.
A unique purpose. I fell silent in thought as the conversation dove into unexpectedly enormous ideas.
You don't need to give an answer right away. You don't even need to give an answer at all. But what's important is to think. Fortunately, you still have time. It'll be fine for you to think about it long and carefully.
All right, I'll try. Feeling like I was given some challenging homework, I nodded with a serious look on my face. Shortly afterward, Coco returned to us. I'm sorry it took so long. I made the tea. Oh, I'm sorry to trouble you. A teacup and saucer were set in front of me. What were you two talking about?
It was about a large-scale inspection. Could you tell everyone in Kikutsune not to get in the way?
All right. Really, you push all the tedious work on me. Coco's gaze stopped at a particular spot. Tail. Wait, Shiro, what happened to your tail?
Oh, so something's happened with this, you know.
Shiratsuki's eyes couldn't help but waver about. Uh-huh. Some things, huh? I'm curious. Would you mind telling me in more detail? Like, if Shiratsuki had like a black tail like Coco probably does, you'd never see the ink, but he's got to be like blonde, so. I thought this would happen. I mentally put my hands together to pray for Shiratsuki and the lecture he would endure later. I love the fact that Coco's like, what the fuck did you do to your tail? It's fucking cute. Rituals and bloodlines. Still in chapter 1, but that's the sub-chapter, I guess. Or the section we're in. At the end of the workday, I compiled information for my report. Okay, I'm done with my report now. Another 15 minutes before I can clock out. There's probably something else I can do. Go like this. Slumped backward in your fucking desk chair and your shoulders are tense and you're like, oh god. Because, you know, long day. Put your head on your desk and close your eyes for 15 minutes. And when they're like, what are you doing? I'm thinking hard about something. About what? I don't know. You interrupted me. Sammy and Yakumo haven't come back yet. I thought I should sort out the mail since we had items from General Affairs and Investigation. Addressed to Sammy. This one's Yakumo's. Sammy. Wow, he's not the leader for nothing. Sammy seems to have a lot on his plate. How strange. He never seems that busy. He writes himself all those letters. To Sammy, you are amazing. That's more the Shiratsuki voice. You know what I mean? He just writes himself letters, puts it and sends it, and then he's like, I get a lot of it. I'm very busy. He doesn't seem busy because he just like, it's just a form letter that he just mails to himself. This one's for Sammy too. It seems to be a copy of a book. It was pretty thick, really heavy. There were some sticky notes on it too. This is a lot of stuff. I guess I can put them on Sammy's desk. His workspace was cluttered, so I tried making space on his desk to set everything down. As I was doing that, the door opened. Boyfriendo! I looked to see Chief Tokiwa standing there. Because he's voiced by Jun Fukuyama, so he's my best friend. You're my best boy. Okay. I can't date you, but in my head, you know, I just want to like bookmark every single chapter or section that you're in just so I can just come back to the game and just listen to your lines over and over and over and over and over and over. You get the point, and just keep going with that forever. When I die, my heaven is just gonna be like Jun Fukuyama's voice talking to me in all sorts of different character voices. If I am ever in a coma, well, unplug me. Don't let me stay that way. But like, you know, for the like, oh, well, you know, they give you like a week or two before they're like, nah, just cut your losses. Just play a compilation of Jun Fukuyama speaking to me. And that will either pull me the fuck out of it. And if it doesn't, then you know I'm gone and just pull the plug. There you go. All right. Those are your instructions to inform my family should that ever happen. Can you imagine? Oh, I need to make like a living will or some shit and put that in there. Okay, so if I'm in the event I'm ever in a coma, this is what you do. And if that doesn't pull me out of it, and then you're like, so we did this and she didn't come out, then you pull the plug. Just pull the plug. You know, what's the normal buffer time? Okay, give me about the normal buffer time. Don't do the like, it's been like 3 years. I do not want to wake up from a coma after like 6 fucking years. Like, that's just, no. Like, a week? Okay. Like, a month? I mean, but like, it's been 22 years. No. Because your brain is like, shit, I just blinked, and what did I miss? And everyone's like, 20 years of your life. And you're like, you know what? I did that once. That was 20 years ago to now. I don't want to do it again. I don't wanna. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? No, thank you. All of us have kind of felt that. Because 2020 started and now it's 2022 and it's been 2 fucking years and you're like, I don't know how to do things anymore. We're all like at work because we are going back to work at the end of March and it's like, we're like, no, I don't, we're really, no, I don't. And I'm like, I don't know how. It's been 2 years. And they even sent, when they sent the thing around saying like, okay, we're going back on this date. And they're like, we're aware that it's going to be a transition because it's been like 2 years and we're all going to have to figure this out. And I'm like, see, everybody knows it's been 2 years. Nobody knows how to fucking do this anymore. You did it every single day for decades. Decades. Centuries. 84 years. And yet it's been 2 years and I'm not sure how the fuck, where do I put my badge? What's the thing? What is the, I'm going to forget my fucking laptop at home. I told my coworker, I'm like, I'm going to forget my laptop and have to drive all the way home and be like, fuck. Because I don't remember. I'm going to be like, oh, right, I had to put on pants. Shit. Like, I just, like, it's like, I'm like, it's like the first day of school after summer break, but like, we haven't done it in a long ass time and it's been 2 years. That's how long our summer break was. But I'm like, oh my God. People aren't kidding when they did the like back to work with the, and they took the little back to work photos with their little, but it's literally like that. It is like first day of 3rd grade. And then you're like walking around, you're like, hey, are we in the same row? Are we sitting in the same, are we on the same floor? Oh my God. Yeah. It's like, oh, we have to like ask who's homeroom teacher and like who's got what class, where my locker is. Oh my God. Oh, it's like trauma. It never goes away. You think it goes away when you like get into the corporate environment and you're like, I am an adult and I do not have to do the school things. And now it's like flashback to that. You're like, oh, fuck. Except for, I feel like when you're going to school, it's like you're a freshman in high school. It's like you're going to a whole new school. You're like, great, I am starting a whole new year of school in a whole new building and I am the bottom fish. It's like that, but it's been 2 years and everybody expects that as an adult, you know how to fucking do this. And you're like, but I didn't know how to do it to begin with. And now I forgot. Shit. I mean, when I had to go back to get my vaccination, I did it at my work building because they were offering it there. And I was like, sweet, I know where that is. That's in my bubble. I can manage that. It might have just been better to be like, let me find a random fucking pharmacy somewhere and try to figure out how to get there because there are like none really close to me in my bubble. Like, because I forgot how to get into the work building. I'm like walking and I'm like open it. I'm like, wait. And then a woman came out and I'm like, oh, right, I have to swipe my badge here in order to open this. I'm like, I forgot how to do this. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm not looking forward to it. Anyway. That stemmed from like the coma thing to like, I'm just saying, it's just rough, man. So we get on weird tangents in this game. How do we do this in everyone? I mean, I know I talk a lot in everyone, but I don't know if we go from weird starting points to end points. I just feel like the tangents are weirder in this game, and I swear to God I'm not drinking, but I thought about it. Anyway, as I was doing that, the door opened, and I looked to see Chief Tokiwa standing there. Best boy. Hello, Chief! I forget the voice I gave him. But I think we just give him a normal voice, because I can't do a good Jun Fukuyama voice. I can hear it in my head. I can. But anyway. Hello, just you today? Yes, Sammy and Yakumo are on patrol. I can relay a message to them if you have one. I put the items in my hands back down and grabbed a pen and paper right away. Chief Tokiwa just burst into laughter. Thank you, I appreciate the effort, but it's not a big deal. It can wait until later. The chief started to leave, but stopped when he noticed one of Seimi's packages. Hmm? Ah, Tokitsugu ordered this too, did he? He flipped through the pages with interest. No new information. What's that for, Chief? The rituals of Sakuratani. There's not much about the tributary bloodline. The same goes for the pertinent ritual. Tributary bloodline. Tamamo and Shirohatsuki had been talking about that. Right. We have a very important role in maintaining the stability of Sakuratani. But in regards to rituals, we know very little. Most people in the department gave up on this, but Tokitsugu and I are still investigating. I see, but if this event, this ritual is that important, why don't more records exist? They got lost in the war. It was only a few years ago that we found out a descendant of the first Ayakashimori was needed to do the ritual at all. The Investigation Bureau has been working on it since then, but hasn't gotten anywhere. And if the bloodline ended, it's pointless anyway. The chief looked very concerned. It was similar to the look Seimi had when Tamamo had told him to find a tributary bloodline. I don't want to give up on this yet. Who knows? The very descendant we've been looking for could be walking among us as a colleague. I feel it! Yeah, and you know! It's me, isn't it? Yes, it is. It's absolutely me, and that's just, come on. If it's not, I'd be shocked. A colleague? Ask the question or agree? Agree. Oh, Common Route Chapter 1. Agree with Chief Tokiwa. Oh, interesting. This is a split point. You know, I gotta be honest, I kind of like the flowchart in this one because it tells you where you go. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, oh, okay, well, this was stupid. Oh, well, you know what? This is disappointing. Huh. Alright, well, wait. Well, now I'm disappointed in the... Well, you know what? I just thought the flowchart was cool, and now I'm, like, fucking disappointed. Because we didn't do anything. When we got here, we did all 5 of these. And then it led to this point. Okay. But then we made the... And I didn't realize this when I popped back in here yesterday. When we made that choice with Akuro, it was like, oh, falsely accused. You know, you made the opposite choice. But... now it did nothing. They loop right back to the same point. And then these do differ because you go to any one of those and then it leads to the map select, which is fine. I mean, that's fine. They all kind of just go back to the map select. I guess the flowchart is not really an accurate flowchart, is what I'm going to guess, because if you think about it, all of those points, all 6 of those points lead back to the map, all 6 lead back to the map, blah, blah, blah. But we went to Shiratsuki in all of those. So we should be kind of technically leaning down more his path. So those choices... So yes, even though they all flow back into the map select, but even behind this flowchart, this is like the surface level. You've got these 6 choices. You make one, it goes back into the flowchart. It goes back to map, and then you make a different one of 6 choices. Whereas the prior one, it was like, you do all of these, all 4 of these, and they, you know, and then you go out. This is you get one, you come out, you get a bunch of new ones, you come out, whatever. But behind that, it's keeping track of like, oh, well, you chose Shiratsuki. Oh, okay. And it's keeping a tally. So that makes sense. But at the same time, it's kind of stupid, and I don't get what's happening with this. Oh, we agreed with the chief, right? So it pops up like you agreed with him. As if, oh, this choice is... I mean, maybe it's because this choice is making a difference. Where in Shiratsuki's route, you know, when we're in the Shiratsuki chapters, like when we went to him in these little boxy sections right here... Yes, the choices make a difference, but they're behind the scenes. It's not the front line make a difference. So there's different levels of making a difference, I guess. But it is very weird that here it's like, okay, with Akuro, that choice, it's like, but either one that we made loops right back in. So you're not seeing, like, you know what I mean? Like in this question, well, okay, let's go back here to this one. This one's more pertinent because you can see. So it's not like, oh, we said, oh, falsely accused, and it leads down a whole different path. Whereas, oh, darkness leads down a different, they both loop back in and go straight to your rounds. But behind the scenes, it's keeping somewhere like, that's a very pertinent choice for some part of the story. And these ones are a pertinent choice for the story. But it's also funny it doesn't show you. But also, it shows you here which way you went. So we know, because it's purple, we chose falsely accused, not the white one. But yet, in those other ones, we went down every single one of these, but they're not purple. And we only went down one of these, but it's not purple. And the pink just shows us where we are right now. But it's just very weird because the color coding is still not Okay, so you know what? I think my point of the flowchart is like, I don't really necessarily like it. You know? It seems... although, maybe you can come back... If you can select scenes from the flowchart, that's about the only thing useful about it. Because otherwise it's not really helpful because it doesn't 100% tell you the choices you have or have not made because anything in the map select, it doesn't register that you made it. So if you were like, shit, what choice did we make on this one? You don't remember which choices you made. I mean, I know right now we made the Shronatsky one. So we went here, but it doesn't register that, okay, that one's the one you chose. So you wouldn't know. And like, so I don't know. It's kind of like mostly useful, I guess, but also in a vague, weird way because these choices clearly make a difference. Because the other choices we've made, there's no split, but then they also come back to the exact same point. So it's not really, I guess it's a split in like every other game where you have two choices, A and B. They just change the conversation, but they do absolutely nothing in the background to put you on a path. These ones make some kind of a difference to the game. So it tells you, and it shows you in the flowchart, but they all go loop back, so it just makes it seem weird. I guess it's because I just had to think through it. We just never have a flowchart in any other game. Or most of them. So you're like... Or it just doesn't show... It shows you a flowchart where this is a branching point. This is a decision where you're going to go down A or B. This one is showing you, this is a decision point that matters somewhere, but like not right now. And you're like, that's weird. It's odd. There's a lot of odd design choices in this game. And I think I'm just trying to wrap my head around them because it's like, flowchart I guess is useful to pop back to scenes if you wanted to see a certain one. But it also is showing you where the important choices, I guess, are. But it's also weird because they are important in the background and for later, but not for now. So it's not like, oh, I need to come back to this point, make a different choice to go down a different route. You wouldn't know that because it still flows back into the same thing. But it's clearly important because it tells you, you made this choice. And every other choice, aside from the one with Akuro, doesn't tell you that. It's really weird. It's just strange. But anyway, it is what it is, so. It'd be nice, wouldn't it? If someone came from that bloodline, they'd have the skills of an Ayakashimori. Exactly. The search has been difficult. Even though we have the materials, we haven't gotten the results we want. The only thing we can do for now is make sure to do our jobs as Ayakashimori and keep the peace in Sakuratani. Right. As simple as it sounds, it's an important thing. Also, I'm not 100% sure I trust Tokiwa as much as I love you, because I'm not 100% sure you're the Jun Fukuyama character. Do we trust you? We always love you, but can we trust you? I don't know. It's iffy. It's not always a bad thing, but then again, I'm not sure I trust anyone anymore. You might just be slightly shady, but like not necessarily bad shady, just, you know, you're just like, I'm just shady. Oh, okay. But not the stab you kind. Like, you know, Samey is Doesn't ever open his eyes. That's shady AF. And Tokiwa's just, well, you know, like a gray zone, because he's literally gray, so. I often felt like an Ayakashi babysitter, mediating arguments and cleaning up their messes. This reminded me of the job's true importance. Oh, chapter 1 about the abnormality. Oh, okay, wait a minute. Did this split? Or no, I bet this is just where it comes back in on the flow. Okay, it comes back in there in the flowchart. Interesting. And it's so weird when you get to a certain point, it gives you the little title screen. I mean, I guess that's good because if you wanted to, you're like, where was that? Oh, right here. And you would know what scene because it pops up and tells you about the abnormality. There's just a lot of strange things in this game that we're not used to seeing, so anyway. Our biggest concern right now, really, is that Sakuratani is starting to exhibit anomalies. We're looking into ways to perform the ritual without the bloodline, but it's getting to a point where we have to figure out something else. Chief Tokiwa's gaze pointed toward all of the documents that Seimi had gathered. I'm only responsible for what I'm assigned, but I'd like to do something about this too. Maybe I can start researching things about rituals and bloodlines myself. Oh yeah, time to get out of here and... Hey, Tadashi, what you got there? Chief! Yakimoto had a big smile on his face and was carrying a few shopping bags. He turned pale as soon as he saw Chief Tokiwa. I love the fact that the chief looks so, like, adorable and unassuming. He kind of also... There's something about him that reminds me of, I said that... No, I think I said that when we first met him. He reminds me of Sasuzuka a little bit. There's just a little bit of, like, something in his face that's like, I may be small and have floofy hair, but I will kick your ass! Don't make me mad! And you're like, you're so cute when you're angry, kitty pats on it. You know, he's just like, little angry cupcake. But Tokiwa's not angry, but I just feel like he's that little, like, you're like, you're just a little muffin! And you just want to pat him on the head and he will fucking stab you if you do that. Like, don't do it. There's just something, like, slightly intimidating about his adorableness. Like, you're little and cute and you might hurt me, wait. You know what I mean? There's just something slightly sinister in his adorable littleness. Because he just, like, look, he's shorter than Tadashi. I mean, okay, they're probably the same height. But he just, like, looks little and unassuming. He looks, like, petite and delicate and, like, soft. But, like, still there's something about the look on his face. Even though he's not, like, glaring at you or anything, you're like, you could hurt me. Like, I don't know what it is anyway. Oh, I can explain. After my shift was over, I went to get these bags for my dorm. How does that make sense? You only clocked out a minute ago. When did you learn how to teleport, Tadashi? Tokitsugu! Poor fucking Tadashi. Poor puppet Tadashi. As Seimi entered the room, his comment seemed to drive Yakimoto deeper into a corner. I seriously think Seimi derives the most enjoyment from seeing someone else squirm in discomfort. Look at how happy he looks about this, too. You're one to talk, Tokitsugu. I see that sake. And don't tell me you were drinking on the job. Of course not. I asked Okuro for this so I could share it with you, Itsuya. By the way, the quality of this one here's not bad. A snow woman was chilling it for me a little bit, so it would be perfectly cold. Why didn't you get her something she likes? Hey, I heard she didn't mind sake. Isn't that right, Spacey? Right, well, it's not my... Huh? It's like a party for me. Oh my god. Surprise! We're having your welcome party today. What kind of surprise party is this? This is hilarious. Because you didn't see it coming, and also it's slightly disjointed, which feels like something these fools would do. Tokiwa just walks in, hey! Seimi and Tadashi here? And you're like, nope, they're not here. Alright, well anyway, let's just talk shop. And then they come in, ha ha ha, it's party for you. That's why I'm here. I really had no business being here. And he's giving Yakimo shit. Like, fuck. Seimi was holding sake bottles, and Yakimo had some plastic bags full of snacks to eat with sake. Oh. I was just thinking, I'm like, why would Yakimo be freaked out when the chief was like, what's with the bags? And he, like, you know what I mean? He would have been like, huh? Like, because he didn't know that he knew. Okay, I get it now.
Chief, you knew about the welcome party? Come on, Tokitsugu, you told me it was a secret! There are no secrets between me and Itsuya.
Oh, really? No secrets at all? It's cute. I like it. So, like, look at him winking at me! Stop it! I love you because you're voiced by Jun Fukuyama, of course. So, like, Jun Fukuyama's winking at me! I know. I know that's not what's happening here, but still. I love it. That's okay. I'm just gonna now... Seimi and Tokiwa is a package deal now. Awesome. Man sandwich. Sweet! You know how I like my fucking man harems and my man sandwiches. Not entirely. I've got several.
Oh, Itsuya's always been like that. He's a man who enjoys privacy. You know, he actually called me boring when we first met.
Boring? You mean weird, right?
Well, you sure have a mouth.
It would be pointless to try and keep my thoughts away from Seimi. In other words, I can be honest with him. If Seimi was the type to respect hierarchy, I would have been reprimanded a while ago. Let's talk about Tokitsugu while we relax. Oh, I'll drink to that. Here, take a seat. We'll get everything ready. No, let me help. Chief Tokiwa, Seimi, do you like this sake?
No, no need for all that. It's your party. I don't like newbies pouring drinks for me anyway. It's got harassment written all over it.
Tokitsugu is surprisingly sensitive about that.
Surprisingly? Why is that surprising? Oh, I guess I get it.
If you know, then why ask? Spacey, are you really okay with drinking? I think we have tea and juice too. What, 'cause I'm a woman? I will drink your ass under the table! Get out. Yes, we do. Also, there's no need to worry about us having leftover drinks. The chief here is like a sponge. Oh my god, that's actually amazing. He's gonna drink us under the table. He's like the tiniest little fucking marshmallow, and he's just like a drunk marshmallow. I love it. He's like, I just drink it all, and I'm fine. What? I love it. I'm not a heavy drinker, but I do enjoy it. I've got to say, I'm also curious to see how the sake from this world tastes. Come to think of it, this is my first time out drinking with coworkers like this. You're not actually out drinking, you're in drinking, but it's fine. If it was with anyone else, I might feel anxious about letting my guard down too much, but I actually feel safe with this bunch. I don't know if we should. Maybe with Yakimo, he seems like a pretty innocent little thing. But, like, Tokiwa seems like he could be innocent and sweet, or he could be dangerous. I'm not really sure. He's the gray area. Also, morally gray. Look at him. He's completely gray. And Seimi will probably push us off a building or stab us or do something shady because his eyes are closed. So I don't trust you at all. I love you to motherfucking death, but I don't trust you. There are 3 stages of trust in here. I trust Yakimo, which might actually be unfounded. Maybe I shouldn't. Oh, because he's a nice character like this, and then he's gonna turn evil. You know what I mean? Okay, I don't trust anybody, actually. Right? These games. But, like, based on the way they're going, I feel like Yakimo should be the trustworthy one, which also then makes it seem like he should not be the trustworthy one. Because I know how these games work. Tokiwa's the gray area. He could absolutely 100% stab you, or he could 100% have your back. And, like, not stab it. You know what I mean? Seimi, I'd be really fucking shocked if he didn't do some shady shit. You know what I mean? Sure, he's our love interest, but he's gonna pull a Saint Germain on us, okay? Like, I know how this goes! You fooled me once! But you can't fool me twice, actually. This is like the 3rd time a character's had their eyes closed, and I was like, now I know. Okay? Because Saint Germain, I didn't know. I didn't know, and you fooled me, and the 2nd time it happened, I was like, oh, right, I forgot. I was bamboozled, I wasn't paying attention, and I got, okay? Not happening again, Seimi, I don't trust you. Trust you as far as I can shove you, but I still love you. Absolutely. And I will trust Yakimo, and it will probably bite me in the ass, but whatever. Anyway. I can tell that everyone's looking out for me, trying to make this all easier for me. And they might be. I don't know. These games have taught me not to trust. In the end, we all worked together in getting our little drinking party started. Welcome party!
Now, a toast to our new recruit.
Cheers! Oh, that was Tadashi. Cheers! Cheers.
We were supposed to do it together.
Oh, were we supposed to do it together?
Oh well.
Cheers. Aw, this is adorable and I love it. True to his words, our glasses clumsily clinked together out of order with each other's. It was silly but endearing. I freaking love our party CG. Why does Sammy look embarrassed? He's like, he looks awkward. Oh, look how joyously happy we look. We are like the tiniest little fucking thing, aren't we, Jesus? We're so cute. All of us. Not just us, but anyway. That's cute. Thanks, everyone. I'm happy to be here. The thing that I find interesting and I like about this game is the CGs are very on par with the sprite art. Because, you know, sometimes in other games, like, there's slight differences where, like, sometimes the CG, you're like, oh my god, the CGs are gorgeous! And they're totally different than the sprites. Or other times when the CGs come on, you're like, why is the sprite more attractive than the CG? Or there's like, this one has always been, like, every single time a CG comes on, it's like, I don't realize that it's a CG. Because it's very on par, the exact same tones and everything of the full game. The characters look exactly the same as they do in sprites. And it's just, I don't know why. Like every other game, you know, you're like, oh, CG time! This one, you're like, oh, right, this is a CG. It looks exactly like the fucking game. And it just kind of throws me off a little. So, like, I like that. I like that it's not, it's just, I don't know, I just feel like it's 100% in line with the backgrounds and the sprites in the game, where other games there is like a little bit of a variance. You know, like sometimes the sprites might like the CGs have a lot more color, or there's something about them that's like, okay, now we're definitely making the CG stand out somehow, and this is like it just blends in with the damn game, and you're like, this is a CG, okay, you know, I don't know why. A lot of shit throws me off in this game, and I don't know why. Is it just me? Oh, maybe. Thanks, everyone. I'm happy to be here.
Wow. I didn't know you said things like that.
Of course I do. What do you think I am, Sammy?
Well, what do you think?
Of course you would dodge the question. Ice tickled my lips as I sipped from my glass. Whoa. It tastes like water. A little sweet and really easy to drink. Oh, totally. It's actually pretty strong, though, so you should pace yourself. Gotcha. I'll be careful. You all handle your drinks pretty well, huh? Yakimo said the chief is like a sponge. I can't wait till he, like, downs a bottle and he's like, all right, getting going. Yep, it takes a lot to bring me down. I'm tough. And beautiful. I'm okay. Sammy's got a better tolerance, though.
Sorta. More than Tadashi, but not like Itsuya.
Tokitsugu definitely knows his limit. Lord knows he's tested it enough times. Now. You know who can really hold their booze? Ayakashi. They drink like fish. If you're ever drinking with them, you gotta be careful. It's pretty tough, huh, Tokitsugu?
Absolutely. Hey, Itsuya. You aren't mad that I went to get snacks and sake on the clock, are you?
No. Knowing you, I'm sure you took care of work before you went to do all that. That was pretty funny, though.
Ugh, you're the worst. Okay then, Spacey, it's time for your Q&A session.
It's supposed to be a party, Sammy. What the fuck? What? See how much you remember after you've downed some sake. You're like, should have had like a bottle of tequila. I'm lucky I know my name, but I love you, man. That came out of nowhere. I can't keep up how I feel about this game sometimes. Or things happening. You're like, what? Okay.
If you have questions about your work, how can Itsuya say no, right?
Whatever you want, Tokitsugu. They're in a bromance, and maybe a actual romance. I'm not sure, but I dig it. I don't know if I understand what this is, but I do have a few questions I'd like to ask. I guess I'll play along. What about earlier, Chief Tokiwa? Are there people who come from Ayakashimori blood but don't end up having similar abilities? Huh? Wow, that's a pretty good question. Oh, that's Sammy, I'm sorry. Huh? Wow, that's a pretty good question. What, you think I'm stupid? Underestimate me. We were talking about the new hires earlier. I see. Oh, well, it's possible. Not everyone in the family ends up becoming an Ayakashimori. If they could, I don't think we'd be short on Ayakashimori right now. He has a point there. They're so low on staff members that they had to sneak into a normal job interview to search for potential new hires for the 6th. For the other divisions, if you can see a ghost, you can do your job. But the 6th requires people who can use spells to fight them too. Right. If they can't get into other divisions, we just have them do clerical work. Those tasks are given to people who can't see Ayakashi. We can't go relying on occult fanatics either. The problem with them is, once they get in, who knows what they might share online. That's true. Hey, so are the other divisions as low on people right now? Sort of. Definitely not as much as we are. People that have the chops to be an Ayakashimori are pretty uncommon, yourself included. I'll try my best to keep up with you guys. Sammy and Yakumo are so good at using their spells. It's been very educational. What? I get Tokitsugu, but me too? Oh, Yakumo. If you ever have any advice, I'm all ears. Wow, isn't that nice, Tadashi? You really used to struggle at first, too. Yes, you're such a pro compared to me. And yes, we can practice whenever you want. Tokitsugu helped me so much back in the day. That's right. I taught Tadashi everything. You'd better take care of all the new recruits from now on. Got it? Okay, wait, what? That's such a heavy burden. It's like he takes everything Sammy says seriously, and you'd think at this point he would know not to. So, any other questions? Oh, I have one more. It's about the Misumaru. I looked down at mine. These beads let me travel between Sakuratani and the real world. The reality of it still hadn't hit me. I know we're over time, but we're just going to finish this part. So, members of the 6th and the upper brass of the special agency get a Misumaru, but everyone else has to submit a request to use one. That's what I learned during training anyway. My question is, do people outside of the 6th ever come to visit Sakuratani? Oh, wow. Are you telling me that you missed your chance to ask this during training and it's been gnawing away at you this whole time? Maybe. Ugh, Kenny's spot on. I don't want to answer. Yes, and not all the time, but once in a while. Remember the other day you just had that request sent to you, Tokitsugu? Oh, remember the other day you just had that request sent to you, Tokitsugu? About that girl, no. Got so mad at her cheating boyfriend that she up and turned into an Oni. What? Well, I can't blame you for being surprised, but Ayakashi come from the real world sometimes. If they can't be handled, they call us. Divisions 1 through 5 make attempts, but if they can't do it... If they need to be subjugated or sealed, they're sent to Sakuratani. When that happens, we get agents who aren't from the 6th. Exactly. Oh, and Ayakashi actually need a pass too. That's why there are 3 types of Misumaru. For Ayakashimori, Ayakashi, and visitors. Someday you'll have to request an Ayakashi pass. I'll teach you how to do it when it happens. It's a pain in the ass, but it's not too hard. A good point. They're a pain to check. I see. At the end of the day, this is a government job with all of the paperwork that comes with it. That was originally the type of job I wanted. I wouldn't mind a bit of clerical work like that. If only we could make it easier. But we also don't want people waltzing in and out of here, so I get it. As Sammy and the chief broke off into a different conversation, Yakumo whispered to me. What is it, Yakumo? I heard you're going shopping with Kinka sometime soon. Is that true? Oh, yeah. It came up the other day when I was having tea with her and Tamamo. Lucky. Hey, do you think you could do me a solid and ask her what type of guy she's into? Yakumo is in love with her. That's so cute. I mean, you kind of figured that out when Sammy was like, she got a hug. Ha ha, Yakumo, look at that. She's having tea. You're like, Tadashi is absolutely fucking in love with Kinka. I love it so hard.
Oh, young love. Why don't you ask her yourself?
What? Tokitsugu! I thought you were talking to the chief! Sammy ignored Yakumo's panicked reaction and turned to me.
Spacey, have you guessed it already? Tadashi has a crush on Kinka.
Ah, got it. You know, you always act so awkward whenever Kinka's around. I can't blame you, she's adorable as fuck. What? I was acting awkward? Do you think Kinka noticed? Fucking love Yakumo so much. I really hope that you never change and you're just our innocent little puppet boy. I just hope you stay this way because, like, I don't want you to be like, we think he's all nice and sweet and then he turns evil. I don't want that. I just want you to stay, like, the innocent dumbass that you are. Innocent, naive, totally clueless. You are perfect the way you are, Tadashi. Please don't change.
Hey, like I said, Tadashi, a guy like you is perfect. You wear your heart on your sleeve. You couldn't hide your feelings if you tried.
Yeah, but I guess our drinking has reached this point. I decided Yakumo needed more sake. My glass needed a refill too, but the chief happily took care of that. Thank you very much. You're our guest. It's my pleasure. Besides, we're not the only ones who've accepted you. You get along well with Tamamo and Kinka. It's all thanks to Sammy. He was the one who gave me the approval to accept Tamamo's invitation. It's how I was able to get close to them. I smiled, recalling how fun that was. I could sense those two making efforts to be nice, but I never thought we'd be friends so quickly. Tamamo? Yes, she said I didn't have to call her madam. She said I could think of her like a real sister. Okay, the weird thing is like... You get along well with Tamamo and Kinka, and then we said we took her invitation, and then he's like, Tamamo? Like, he's questioning that. Didn't you just say we were friends with her? Unless he's like, wait, she invited you? I see. That's amazing. I can't believe she opened up that much to someone who wasn't the first, or myself. Are you jealous? Are you in love with her because you're supposed to be in a bromance/romance with Sammy, so I can be in the middle of his man sandwich? Look, I'm just saying. Listen, Tamamo, you can't have Tokiwa. You can't. I'm in it for the voice acting that we're not listening to right now, but I can hear it in my head. It's fine. The first? He must be referring to the person who made Sakuratani. The other day when we were having tea, Tamamo mentioned it briefly. Maybe it's because we're somehow descendantly related to the first. You know, hi, because we're the special. And Tamamo can sense it, and that's why she trusts us. We're way over time, but, like, whatever. Her cover as a Kitsune Ayakashi was blown, and she was thrown out of the castle she lived in. The first had invited her to Sakuratani. Wait, can that person be Chief Tokiwa? I almost feel like Chief Tokiwa meant something else by what he was saying. Chief Tokiwa, are you and Tamamo close to each other? I didn't think twice about the question. Huh. I sensed something in his smirk. As new as I was here, I was still an adult. Oh. Since he didn't answer right away, could that mean they were in some kind of relationship? Ah! Tamamo, you can't steal my man! I don't know what you just imagined, but let's just say we aren't strangers. Oh! No! I probably wouldn't care if he wasn't voiced by Jun Fukuyama as much, but, you know, it just makes me sad. Don't steal him! Don't steal Jun away from me! It's alright, I guess. He's so composed. Yakumo could learn a thing or two from him. Maybe it's something that comes with age and experience. Samy's hard to read, so I thought the chief might be similar, or at least more put together, but there might be something here. Come to think of it, the way Tamamo talked about the first had a meaningful tone to it. I wonder if I can ask about that. I was still a little confused, but the chief continued on with a soft expression. That doesn't look soft, that looks slightly angry. But, in general, Ayakashi don't fall in love. They don't need to have descendants. Ayakashi and human values are so different. Is that right? I often hear about Ayakashi and human differences, but I feel like I rarely hear about the specifics. Oh, you said that and now Tadashi's gonna cry. Look at him.
Natsuya, if you talk about it so definitively, you're gonna break Tadashi's heart.
Oh, no, not at all. That's not it. Oops, sorry. I didn't mean to assume. There are Ayakashi who bear children, of course. The Oni do. So do the Kitsune and the Tanuki.
Mankind and Ayakashi are similar in ways, and there are records of that subject in particular.
You're right.
Oh, look, he just got all his color back.
Humans and Ayakashi falling for each other. I guess that's where Yakumo is right now. I like how that line just like, oh, yeah, interesting. Oh, really? Because that's not the whole point of this fucking game. When I have the opportunity, I'd love to ask Tamamo and Kinka about it. Spacey, what about you? Are there any Ayakashi you're interested in? I love how this has just turned into like, which Ayakashi do you want to fuck game with your coworkers? Weird! Huh? That threw me off guard.
Natsuya, don't make her accuse you of harassment.
You have a point there, but really, I didn't mean it in that way. I scrolled up to see if there was like in the guide. I was like, let me just scroll up and see if there's a point where we have to answer. We do. We are going so far over. Oh well, we're here for the long haul. As an Ayakashimori, I was curious if there were Ayakashi you wanted to have good relations with. Certainly there are some you don't, right? Someone I'd want to have good relations with. I mean, he said good relations. Relations or like relations? Like, I want to be on good terms with, or like have good relations with? Like, what? There's, I don't know how you're saying it, but there are several if I think about it that way. I guess I'd have to say everyone. Akura, Shunatsuki, Hira, Shu. Oh, right, we can't say. I was like, who are we missing? Right, Samey. We're not asking about it. We choose Shunatsuki. Chapter 1, Shunatsuki! Maybe Shunatsuki? Among the Shires, I feel like he might be the most kind. I just have to see the fucking flowchart. Yeah, there was a... I wonder if it changes. Okay, we'll see what happens when we move back. Okay, because we're not going to end this part anytime soon, so... He seems to know Akuro and Hiro well enough. Maybe he can help me expand my network.
Well, that doesn't sound like a bad idea. Shirotsuki's easy to deal with, too.
True, he actually likes modern culture, even though he sounds like the others here. He's different from the Makatsui Oni, though.
Good point. Oni shop and...
I'm thinking it's supposed to be the Oni shop. And Akihabara usually... Oh, the Oni's shop. Oni. Oh, Oni is a plural. It's... an Oni or Oni. Alright, okay. I just forgot that it was a plural, too, but anyway.
Oni shop in Akihabara usually, but Shirotsuki likes Harajuku, Shibuya, and Ginza.
He also mentioned wanting to go to Shinjuku. I think he'd want to visit... Shimokitazawa? Shimokitazawa. I'm actually surprised that I was able to say that relatively fast. Wow. Anyway. I've never heard of Shimokitazawa. Anyway. I think he'd want to visit Shidokimazawa. Shidokimazawa. I said it fine the first time, and I'm trying to read it in a voice that's basically my own. I can't. Anyway, Shimokitazawa, too. He goes to buy clothes, huh? Tamamo and Kinka are pretty stylish, but Shunatsuki and Koko seem to do pretty well, too. Clothes aside, his interior design was modern. Shunatsuki's home, Takamonomiya, also has a pretty modern layout. This is now we're finally getting Takamonomiya, not before when we said it 30 times. Anyway, also has a pretty modern layout. The decor and design, even his clothes, they all seem really current. Yeah, we just have to end this part. We can't just... Oh, wait. We're gonna be here forever. We're gonna be here for fucking ever. Oh, Takamonomiya. Takamonomiya! The castle in Kikutsune where Shunatsuki and his companions reside. I take it Tadashi has something to do with that. They always request things from you. Fair fashion and interior design magazines. I buy a ton of them every month for those two. Shiratsuki looks out for me. I'm happy to help.
In return, you get the scoop on Kinka's favorite foods. Anna even told you where she likes to go sunbathing, right?
Wait, no! Hey, that's not true! I just found that out in passing one day! He must have felt pretty lucky that day.
Okay. Well, if you're that interested, why don't you just offer her a Shikigami contract?
But that's a ridiculous abuse of power. There's no way that's legal.
You're right.
And then why did you even suggest it? I remember that sometimes Shikigami contracts were signed for the benefit of Sakuratani. Both parties had to mutually consent to it, along with getting approval from Chief Tokiwa. I can't think of any ways an Ayakashi would benefit from it, but that's probably because I'm thinking about it from a human's point of view. I know Ayakashimori make these requests sometimes, but I wonder if requests ever come from Ayakashi. Yes! Hi, Shiratsuki has been offering since day one. Like Yakumo suggested, it's odd that an Ayakashi would choose to be controlled by an Ayakashimori. But I guess Shiratsuki did offer it to me once, or 6 times. Like, it's been at least 3 times. Shiratsuki's offer to become my Shikigami was just some weird joke, right? The chief responded to my question with another. Well, what do you think? I don't really think he meant it. That's what I thought at least, but now... Shiratsuki's demeanor seemed a little unusual at the time, didn't it? Maybe there was something on his mind. And maybe it would be good for you to find that out by getting to know him better. I love the fact that we're having this talk and they're like, yeah, girl, go get him, girl! Like, oh my god. Oh god. Yeah, I'm not sure he'd tell me his reasons now, but maybe someday he'll open up to me. I bet he will. It did happen when we met for the first time. I didn't know him very well and honestly didn't really think much on it then. But now, after having interacted with him a few times, it's hard for me to believe that he was just kidding. If Shiratsuki really wanted to poke fun at me, there would have been so many other jokes to make that everyone would have understood.
I think that's just something Shiratsuki does with any new hires that we get.
Oh, really? I heard Sami's wry smile before I saw it. Yakumo was nodding in agreement. When I first joined, he told me that he was testing me to see what kind of Ayakashimori I was. He joked around with me, too. Like, oh, thought he was flirting with me. Flirts with everybody, huh? Yeah, that's why he gets the flirt voice. My first impression of Shiratsuki was that he was earnest and friendly, but if he makes it a point to test Ayakashimori, maybe he's very skeptical of us all. Well, there you go, and that explains, I'm very friendly, but I'm skeptical of all of you. I don't trust you, really. I mean, I'll be friendly, but I just don't know if I trust you. And then when we were like, we'd help this Nekomata even if it wasn't my job. And he's like, what? Interesting. That's what I was getting to before, but I couldn't quite wrap my brain around it. Here we go. I wonder what he really thinks about me. Has he accepted me the way he's accepted Sami and Yakumo yet? I'll have to work harder. Chapter 1, in full swing! Okay. I'm going to stop here because we just kind of hit a branch. Like, I want to see if the flowchart changed or if we got back. Nope, we went right back to the same point. Again, I feel like that was an important choice to, like, whose route you're heading towards. So, hey! We don't make that noise. You don't do that. No. Bad bird. Anyway, because we were, like, freaking 20 minutes over, so we gotta stop. So this is kind of where the branch came back. So we're gonna stop here and pretend it's a whole new chapter, because it's a new subsection in this chapter, so good enough. Because we can't keep going! It'll literally be 2 lines. Watch, but we'll find that out in the next part. Anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.